So, as Akbar said, data is the money, is the gold, and the everything. So, I always share that the money is the matter of the function for a medium, measure, and a standard, a store. So, when we see all these things nowadays are into the attributes of our data. So, everything we come up with social media, commercial, ERP, IoT, anything we come up with. So, everything is revolving around the data. A lot of things change in last few years. We see new jobs, we see new terms and all the things like if I go industry automation 4.0, there is a leadership 4.0, and keeping in the same view, our next speaker, Mr. Ayaz Khan, will be presenting the new data leadership. What is the new data leadership? He will be making focus on that, how it works, and like there is a new job into the market, chief data officer. There is the data sciences, analytics, trend analysis, all the things. So I would like to call Mr. Ayaz Khan onto the stage. He's the BizApps Specialist from the Microsoft Pakistan. The Microsoft Pakistan is that company from the childhood to your grave where you heard that name. So I would like to call onto the stage. Please give a round of applause, Mr. Ayaz, to please come onto the stage and present. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum everybody. I hope I can be heard at the back also. Myself, Ayaz Khan, I'm from Microsoft Pakistan. I'm the Business Application Specialist. When you talk about business applications today, things have changed a lot not just the Microsoft, from the Microsoft's perspective, but from the perspectives of all the organizations, both IT and non-IT. In fact, business applications has been shaped more by non-IT companies than by the IT companies themselves. We have had pride ourselves with the kind of applications that we're building, especially in the MIS space for all the customers. If you would talk to Microsoft, we would talk about Dynamics 365, or not Dynamics 365, we would talk about AX and GP and Navision and CRM. All we had to offer. If you talk to SAP, they have their own MIS applications. You talk to Oracle, you talk to Salesforce, Zoho, so many names out there. But now things have changed. Now people have realized that you cannot have large mega applications for anything and everything that you do within your organization. Things work very differently today. Obviously, we're going to talk about a lot about all those things throughout the day. But just to give you a hint about how our customers see it in today's sphere is, now we don't talk about just the ERP and CRM, or if we talk about it, a very limited set of people within an organization talk about that domain, right? Most of the people are working with smaller apps, especially in the marketing and sales and HR department. If you look at it, people have exercised the liberty of using their own applications or using third-party applications that may not be used throughout the organization. Especially when we talk about consumer-related interactions, we see the advent of social media, which has influenced our companies a lot in the way they make their decisions. हमने आज से कुछ साल पहले नहीं सोचा था, ठीक है, by कुछ साल like obviously approximately 10 years ago, कि हम officially Facebook को, Twitter को, Instagram को इस तरह की applications को link करेंगे. बहुत सारी चीजें जो इस तरीके से होती थी, जैसे कि Google Sheets इस्तेमाल होती हैं, ऑनलाइन Microsoft Docs भी इस्तेमाल होता है, लेकिन let's be fair, Google Sheets ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल होती है when it comes to doing your own personal work, right? आज वो आपकी एप्लीकेशन का पार्ट बनते जा रही है, ठीक है? ये वो चीजें थी जो स्टैंडर्ड इस्तेमाल होती थी, लेकिन अब वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का पार्ट बनती जा रही है, क्योंकि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने रियलाइज किया कि हम सिर्फ एक स्टैंडअलोन MIS या सिंगल सॉफ्टवेयर के साथ नहीं चल सकते. We need to collaborate with a lot of people, and most of my talk is around that. I read through the agenda 2 days ago that Akbar shared with me, and what I realized was a lot of people are going to talk about data, automation, and AI. In fact, I think even the very next topic after me is around machine learning. My topic is doing more with less, or do more with less, as we call it internally at Microsoft. And as part of my routine, I'm not going to talk about the do more part, but I'm going to try my best to talk about the less part. As in, people are going to tell you what you do more, right? Or how you do more, or how you achieve the doing more part. In fact, as a nation, Pakistan को तो American institution से do more सुनने की वैसे ही आदत हो गई है, ठीक है? तो हम कोशिश करेंगे कि अपनी American organization ourselves आज do more में बात नहीं करते, बल्कि less वाले component पे थोड़ा सा focus करते हैं. And I'll start off by showing a small video. And we're not going to talk product of from the video. We're going to talk substance, and let's see what people have, what our people at my company have to say.
Data has become the foundation in which everyone worldwide makes decisions. Data has become the foundation in which everyone worldwide makes decisions. After all, there's no shortage of data being produced, whether it's apps and services, devices and IoT, downloads, conversations, or telemetry data. But having the data is just the beginning. It's then sorted, arranged, and presented. Only then do stories and strategies emerge. Microsoft Power BI helps you tell those stories. It starts by connecting to hundreds of data sources and systems, both structured and unstructured. Built-in intelligence models the information, leading to beautiful, easy-to-read interactive reports that lead to easy-to-understand insights. Those insights emerge and flow smoothly and naturally, whether in the office, the boardroom, or from your fingertips. Confidence in governance and security lead to sharing and reacting in real time, so that scaling beyond your limits can lead to new strategies in the market. Whether you're an employee of 1 or 100,000, it's data leading to decisions, leading to action, leading to innovation. Microsoft Power BI. Bridge the gap between data and decision.
ये पावर बीआई वाले पार्ट को छोड़ देते हैं, ठीक है? बाकी कंटेंट पे जरा फोकस करते हैं कि हम कहना क्या चाह रहे हैं.
Data has.
ठीक है. 1.5 मिनट की वीडियो थी, ठीक है? The keywords that I heard, I wrote them down. अच्छा, I didn't play it multiple times to write down these keywords. Obviously, we're used to hearing these keywords a lot. कि जब हम एक दफ़ा वीडियो देखते हैं तो हम कहते हैं अच्छा यार ये बात की थी. And to the best of my memory, I wrote down all the words that this 1.5 minute video contained. And look at those words. Really look at those words. Data, foundation, decisions or decision making, worldwide scalability, IoT, devices, you name it and it's there. मतलब अगर मैं ये पूरा पढ़ूं तो यानी एक एक करके तो शायद मुझे 1.5 मिनट इसी में लग जाए. कहना क्या चाह रहे थे हम लोग? As Microsoft or as any other IT company, what did we want to say with so many terms? Probably I've missed a few, obviously. I wrote this down from memory. कि हम 1.5 मिनट में इतनी सारी टर्म्स इस्तेमाल करें जो कि अपने अपने इंडिविजुअली बहुत वैल्यू रखती हैं, बहुत वेट कैरी करती हैं. इसमें से शायद 4-5 टर्म्स के ऊपर पूरी पूरी प्रेजेंटेशंस हो आज बात स्पीकर्स की. हम ऑब्वियसली लाइक एनी आईटी कंपनी बताना चाह रहे थे आपका डेटा बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. बाज हम में से लोग यहाँ आएंगे और वो बताएंगे कि डेटा एआई के साथ किस तरीके से काम करता है. बाज लोग उससे और आगे बढ़ेंगे, वो ऑटोमेशन की भी बात करेंगे, एनालिसिस की बात करेंगे. ठीक है, मैं बात करने आया हूँ स्पेसिफिकली लास्ट वर्ड की, दैट्स एम्पावर्ड. इफ द डेटा empowers you or not. I will not go into the definition of each of the terms that we used in the video, but I'll give you, just for a reference, give you an example that data means different for everybody. It can be a different time setting, it can be a different scenario, it can be a different perception, or it can even be based on your experience. I am not sure if you, can you guys see the slide? आप लोगों को slides दिख रही हैं? What's it? अच्छा, ठीक है. I think I'll choose better colors next time, but anyways, the word PM, for example, the word PM. Now I have 3 pictures over here on my slides. You look at one of these pictures, just one of these pictures. Assume that you don't have three pictures right in front of you. You look at any one of these pictures. For example, मैं किसी को फिलिप मॉरिस इंटरनेशनल का ब्रांड दिखाऊं, 5 मिनट बाद मैं उसके सामने PM बोलूंगा, पहली चीज शायद उसके जहन में फिलिप मॉरिस आएगी. मैं किसी को घड़ी दिखाऊंगा, 5 मिनट बाद मैं उससे PM बोलूंगा तो उसे AM PM टाइम के पर्सपेक्टिव से समझ आएगा। मैं किसी को इस तरह की तस्वीर दिखाऊंगा कि हाँ भाई कोई कैनमैन चार्ट बन रहा है, कहीं कोई काम हो रहा है, PM से शायद उसके जहन में प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर आएगा, ठीक है, और हो सकता है किसी के जहन में PM से हैंडसम भी आए, क्योंकि हमारे कल्चर का पार्ट बन चुका है ये। What I'm trying to tell you is one meaning may be meaningless for the other group of people. हम यहाँ एग्री करते। ऑटोमेशन क्या है? ऑटोमेशन, इसी के आगे मैंने ऑब्वियसली ऑटोमेशन की भी एग्जांपल डेफिनेशन लिखी है, क्योंकि हम ऑटोमेशन से डिस्कशन करेंगे। इनफैक्ट आवर फ्रेंड्स एट IBM गिव अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग डेफिनेशन ऑफ ऑटोमेशन। दे से दैट automation is the most complex form of AI because it's a two-way traffic. Again, I'm not quoting the exact words what IBM says on their website. I'm just trying to tell what our friends say there. They say it is the most complex form of AI because it is two-way. It not only takes in data, but it also gives out data, and it tries to work on both. When I say it takes in data, by that I mean obviously analysis and prediction, analysis of what actually exists. And when I say it gives out data, what I'm trying to say is it tells you about what's next, what can happen, can it be preventive, can it be descriptive, so on and so forth. When we talk about big data and AI, I think this is interesting because the most important thing that I found on this definition, again from one of our competitors, I'm not going to name them, probably they're sitting in the room, that big data and AI have a synergistic relationship. Now this synergetic relationship is very interesting, and I look forward to some people talking about it actually. The bigger the data, the easier it is for AI to analyze it. The easier it is for AI to give different meanings to it. And the stronger the AI, in turn, more data can be generated. So it's not a one-way traffic when we talk about data. यानी अगर आज 10 GB data कोई system create को आप input दे रहे, तो there is a very high, और कल आप input नहीं भी देते, तो there is a very high chance the system itself, the engine itself, the automation itself is going to create more data. That can be a problem, but again, something that we're not going to talk about today. We're going to talk a little bit about automation. अच्छा, जब मैं अक्सर कंपनीज के साथ बात करता हूँ और ऑटोमेशन पे बात करता हूँ, तो मैं उसमें एक बात बड़ी कॉमन करता हूँ। मैं कहता हूँ यार देखिए, आपके जो बड़े मसले हैं ना, जो बड़ी प्रॉब्लम्स है, वो तकरीबन सबने सॉल्व कर ली है। ERPs लगे हुए, CRMs लगे हुए हैं, और इस तरह की बहुत सारी डिफरेंट, अगर बैंक्स की बात करें तो कोर बैंकिंग लगा हुआ है, ADC चैनल्स लगे हुए हैं। प्रॉब्लम कहाँ होती है? प्रॉब्लम इस ब्लू स्फीयर पे होती है। ये ब्लू स्फीयर ये कहते हैं, अच्छा इस पे मैंने ये डेफिनेटली नहीं दिख रहा होगा, मुझे नहीं दिख रहा, इसमें मैंने वाई एक्सिस पे प्लॉट किया है रिक्वायर्ड स्किल्स एंड रिसोर्सेज, और एक्स एक्सिस पे है इम्पैक्ट टू द बिजनेस। जो काम आपके ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट देते हैं और ज्यादा रिसोर्सेज होती हैं, उसके लिए आपने प्रॉब्लम ऑलरेडी सॉल्व की हुई है। रह जाते हैं वो काम जिसके लिए आपके पास टाइम कम है, लेकिन क्योंकि उसके लिए बिजनेस इंपैक्ट भी कम है, इसलिए जनरली उसके लिए आप कोई एप्लीकेशन या MIS नहीं लगाते। या अगर प्रोक्योरमेंट IT के पर्सपेक्टिव से देखूं कि अच्छा यार इसको सॉल्व करना है, वी वांट टू अचीव दिस, हाउ डू वी सॉल्व इट, तो उसमें अक्सर आपकी IT का रिस्पॉन्स ये आता है, या बहुत से यहाँ लोग बैठे हुए अपने बिजनेस को ये रिस्पॉन्स देते हैं कि देयर इज नो कमर्शियल प्रोडक्ट अवेलेबल ऑफ द शेल्फ दैट कैन सॉल्व दिस। या तो हमें नई डेवलपमेंट में जाना पड़ेगा, या इस प्रोसेस को एज इट इज मैनुअल रहने दें। आज बहुत सारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस आई हैं जो इस टॉपिक पे बात कर रही हैं कि नहीं, इसको मैनुअल नहीं रहने दें, इसको ऑटोमेट कर दें। इफ समथिंग इज रिपीटेटिव, ऑटोमेट इट। हाउ डू वी ऑटोमेट इट? लेट्स लुक एट दैट लेटर। लेकिन मैं एक इंटरेस्टिंग एग्जांपल लेता हूं। सो आई वाज टॉकिंग टू, एंड दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई कैन ऑब्वियसली शेयर, I was talking to one of our customers, Kadi, and Rehan Kadri, a good friend, he said, Ayaz, you know what, we have an internal rule in our organization, if anybody performs a task 5 times in a week, we automate it. And this is not that Rehan has made a process transformation team on this, or this is not related to IT. A memo was sent through executive sponsorship to everybody in the organization that if you do anything more than 5 times a week, record these steps and send it to IT. We'll brainstorm over it if that can be automated or not. Again, nothing to do with Microsoft technology. It's about the mindset, what they're doing. A similar thing is being done by HPL, in fact. So Faisal's team there, Enterprise Process Transformation team, does the same thing. They sit with every department of the bank and talk to them, not about technology, not about what Microsoft has to offer, what IBM has to offer, or what, for example, Zapier has to offer. They talk to them about their business. They talk about collaboration, कि आप ऐसे कौन से काम करते हैं जो आप बार बार नहीं करना चाहते, जो आप समझते हैं कि ऑटोमेट हो सकते हैं लेकिन ऐसा कोई प्रोडक्ट एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता. तो आज हम कौन सी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने की बात कर रहे हैं? बड़ी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने की बात नहीं कर रहे, छोटी छोटी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने की बात करें. Let's see what how does it impact. जब हम do more with less की बात करते हैं और हम कहते हैं कि हम इवेंचुअली बाकी चीजें भी ऑटोमेट करने की तरफ जा रहे हैं, तो डू मोर से आप क्या अचीव कर सकते हैं? जैसा कि मैंने कहा, मैं वो डिस्कस नहीं करूंगा. बट व्हेन आई से लेस, तो फिर सवाल आता है लेस ऑफ व्हाट? लेस ऑफ कैपिटल एंड मनी, डेफिनेटली, एनी डे, एवरीबडी वांट्स टू सेव मनी. इट्स अ कैपिटल इंटेंसिव स्ट्रक्चर. एवरी बिजनेस इज कैपिटल इंटेंसिव. टाइम एंड रिसोर्स, टाइम एज अ रिसोर्स, डेफिनेटली. You save time, you save on a lot of things. Human resource. Now this is the touchy part actually. You save on human resource, but when I say it to organizations, often the person I'm talking to thinks of his job first, his or her job first. I mean, if I were there and Microsoft says we're going to automate the sales process, as a seller I would say, फिर मेरी job का क्या होगा? And that's an interesting question. That's not an interesting question because we feel outdated. That's an interesting question because the whole world is slowly starting feeling outdated. हमने कोविड के टाइम पे एक बूम देखा था टेक इंडस्ट्री का. Everybody was spending. आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने बहुत स्पेंड किया होगा. Eventually some people realized कि हमने ओवर स्पेंड तो नहीं कर दिया आईटी पे, या हमने स्पेंड कर दिया, अब कुछ साल तो उसको सस्टेन कर दें. ठीक है, किसी भी बड़े प्लेयर का नाम लें आप आईटी इंडस्ट्री में, ऑलमोस्ट एवरीबडी हैज गॉन ऑन अ रिकरिंग मॉडल. ठीक है, तो भाई सही है ना, इन्वेस्ट कर लिया ना, जरूरी थोड़ी है कि हर साल नई इन्वेस्टमेंट करें, ये तो चल ही रहा है ना, हम ये रेंट तो पे ही कर रहे हैं ना. हम आईटी कंपनी जब आपके पास अपना प्रोडक्ट लेकर आते हैं तो हम घर की एग्जांपल लेते हैं कि आपने घर रेंट पे ले लिया, जितने साल रहेंगे उतने साल रेंट दीजिएगा, जब नहीं इस्तेमाल करना हो रेंट नहीं दीजिएगा. तो आगे से आईटी वाले आज हमसे कह रहे हैं, प्रोक्योरमेंट वाले कह रहे हैं कि हाँ भाई, लेकिन हर साल नया घर कौन लेता है रेंट पे, या मेरे पास एक घर है मैं दूसरा क्यों लूँ, अनलेस आई एम ग्रोइंग पीपल, आई एम वर्किंग विद एक्स्ट्रा वर्कलोड्स. सो प्रॉब्लम क्या है? सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम टाइम और कैपिटल का नहीं है, सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम इस वक्त ह्यूमन रिसोर्स का है. तो अब ये सवाल आता है कि ऑटोमेशन में जब ये सवाल करते हैं व्हाट इज टू बी ऑटोमेटेड फर्स्ट, तो क्या हमारा मेन कंसर्न ये होना चाहिए कि किस चीज के लिए कमर्शियली ऑफ द शेल्फ सॉल्यूशन अवेलेबल है, या हमारे ये सवाल होना चाहिए कि कौन सी स्किल के लिए कमर्शियली प्रोडक्ट ऑफ द शेल्फ अवेलेबल है. क्या मेरे पास ऐसी स्किल तो नहीं है जिसके लिए कंपनी कल को कोई प्रोडक्ट लगा देगी और मेरी स्किल ऑब्सोलीट हो जाएगी? दैट्स अ स्केरी क्वेश्चन. एंड थैंकफुली some people have started answering it, some people have started looking at it. Not me, definitely. People who are better at these sort of things. And one of those is definitely my boss, या मेरे boss के boss के boss के boss. Let's see what he has to say.
First of all, when we think about jobs, we have to, one thing is this fallacy of a lump of labor, as they call it, the economists say. You know, at least all technological revolutions, people have thought about jobs going away, but what has happened is jobs have gotten created. And none of us can really forecast what gets created. I'll give you one example, right? We talk about this AI really automating, predicting, doing all these magical things. Guess what? There is labeling that happens to generate AI. I came across right here in the region in Thailand a company that was formed by in fact a visually impaired developer to create a tech platform for labelers who are neurodiverse and disabled. So to think that labeling was a job that was going to be something that is needed in the world, 5 years ago none of us would have talked about it, but here it is a mainstream job. Or take another example, one thing when we talk about digital transformation, we are mostly talking about it being done by software engineers, but citizen developers are able to now take these low-code, no-code tools like Power Platform, and if you can build an Excel spreadsheet, you can build an app. So the idea of how people participate in what are considered digital jobs, I think is going to be fundamentally redefined going forward.
But for the here and the now, what do you make of the job cuts that we are hearing about that are grabbing the headlines in the technology space?
That's a great question, because here's an interesting thing, right? LinkedIn sort of has the following data point, right? Which is that there are more jobs that are software engineering jobs outside the tech industry than in the tech industry. So to some degree, I would say the labor markets are much more resilient. There's not an auto company that doesn't need software engineers. There's not an energy company that doesn't need software engineers. There's not a retailer or a bank that doesn't need software engineers. So I would imagine, to the degree to which there's oversupply in one, there will be more even distribution, right? And it also points, I think, to your fundamental point that, like, no industry is immune from macroeconomic issues, right? So everyone has to manage their costs and demand properly.
But I guess where I'm coming to, Satya, is that if growth continues to slow down, if your revenues continue to slow down, if there's an impact on profitability, would you cut more jobs?
I think we're very committed, as I said in our earnings call last time, that look, we're very committed to making sure that our operating expenses and our revenue growth are sort of compatible, because after all, we're a company that needs to be managed super well, and we will continue to do so, and we've done that over the last 47 years. Through many cycles. And so one thing that I don't want us to do is not to just over-rotate on, we didn't do that on the upside, we're not going to do that on the downside, because ultimately, like right now, we're also investing in technologies like cloud and AI and even sort of the industrial metaverse in order to be able to be there and be relevant, right? Our shareholders care about our performance today and tomorrow.
All right, I want to talk about the US economy. Jeff Bezos, in a tweet to CNBC just a few weeks ago, said that it's time to batten down the hatches. How would you describe the economic situation in the US?
I think the US, at least all the data, still shows it's pretty robust. It's grown. In fact, even the last quarter results, at least GDP growth was, in fact, it grew. And so the question is what happens next, right? I think it's a very consumer-driven economy, and so what happens to the consumer will definitely impact. And I don't know. I'm not a macroeconomist, but the one thing that I do know,
but you would have a read on the economy.
I think that my read on the economy, quite frankly, is really how can this is the time. If I had to sort of think about it, this is showtime for digital tech. Right? What I mean by that is this is about companies like ours and others to show up and help companies really do more with less. Right? This is a.
अच्छा, ये ज़्यादा पुराना इंटरव्यू नहीं. I think this was 4 days ago. And the clip that I cut out from the interview talks about 3 things. The first thing he talks about is there are more jobs related to IT and software engineering in the non-IT sector as there are in the IT sector. And that's obviously research that's easier for us to do because we have LinkedIn in our portfolio. The second part that he talks about is obviously we, like any company, needs to look at profits, investments, and return. So yes, if there are troubling times, we're going to look at if we're maintaining our profit, if we're providing the well to shareholders or not. But the last and the most important point for me that he talks about is if there are being job cuts throughout the world, it has become the responsibility of a company like ours, not just Microsoft, but all our friends out there in the IT, to help you achieve more with less. And that's exactly what he says. And then he goes about saying a little bit more about our do more with less policy and how we think. The main point that obviously I want to make over here is sometimes we go on an exercise and talk to customers कि आप किस तरीके से और achieve कर सकते हैं by utilizing the software that you already have, by utilizing the skill that you already may have. And you know what? I'll just take a minute or two over here and wrap this up by just giving this actual example that this is the conversation that I have with a lot of my customers, that we have with a lot of our customers. We go to them and we say them, यार ये scenarios हैं कि आपने इसको automate किया. And these are very simple scenarios. For example, हम बात कर रहे हैं permission request की, leave भी हो सकती है, overtime request की, timesheet submissions की, collection of customer data की, IoT based monitoring की, provided hardware है वहाँ पहले से obviously, project rescheduling की, resource management की, और इसके एंड पे हम ये बात नहीं करते कि आपको इसके लिए कोई सिस्टम लगाना पड़ेगा. Most of the time, Organization already has that setup built in which can help achieve this. All it requires is a little bit of training and empowering your field teams to take that decision कि हाँ हम भी ये create कर सकते हैं. The most important aspect that we believe organizations need today is not more investment outside the organization, but investment inside the organization, and that is empowering their field and increasing collaboration between your tech user and your business user. आपके tech users की, IT के users की अगर दोस्ती हो जाएगी आपके business users के साथ, आपका टाइम टू रेजोल्यूशन की भी किसी भी सोल्यूशन का बहुत छोटा हो जाएगा. टाइम टू अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ सॉल्विंग अ प्रॉब्लम, यानी कोई सॉफ्टवेयर आपने लॉन्च किया थ्रू आउट द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, अगर आपके टेक की और बिजनेस यूजर की दोस्ती है, वो प्रॉब्लम बहुत जल्दी रिजॉल्व होंगे. कस्टमर फीडबैक का आपको ज्यादातर चीजों के लिए वेट करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. ठीक है, तो आई जस्ट लीव यू विद दिस फूड फॉर थॉट. आर यू इन्वेस्टिंग इनफ इन योर पीपल? Are you empowering them to use the tools that you have already bought for your organization? Are you just buying the software or are you consuming the software too? And I will end by saying this. Throughout the day, people are going to talk a lot about technology. Now it's up to you guys to think, क्या ये मेरे काम की है? या I think the right question is, किस तरह से मैं इसको काम में ला सकता हूँ? किस तरह से मैं इस इंफॉर्मेशन को अपने पीयर्स और अपने कोलीग्स के काम में ला सकता हूं? शायद मुझे डायरेक्टली हेल्प नहीं करती हूं, लेकिन मेरी कंपनी में फला डिपार्टमेंट को हेल्प करती है. जरा उनके नजरिए से भी देख लें और सुन लें जो आज लोग आपको बता रहे. एंड लास्ट, इफ anyone of the speakers that come here talks sense or talks about your specific problem, do not hesitate to reach out to them. This is what the industry is here for. Thank you very much.